The Ink and Paint Club podcast is intended for mature audiences. These guys can't go about like 3 seconds without saying a swear, so, listener discretion is advised. Phil, have you been hitting up that Mario Golf now that Toadette's a character?
No. But it's funny, though, that everybody seems to know that, because the moment the DLC was announced, like, everybody's like, hey, look! So, okay, cool.
That's how you know your brand is successful.
I'm okay with that. I'm glad that people know that I'm a big Toadette fan. I have no shame in that.
You're listening to the Ink and Paint Club podcast, a proud member of the Geekly Grind Podcast Network.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Ink and Paint Club podcast for this week. My name is Matt. JD is not going to be around for this episode, but we've got a ragtag group of boys here to talk about the topic for this episode. We've got Kyle here.
Oh.
We got Dustin here.
Hey, I'm smarter than the average podcast host.
And we have Phil here.
Hi, I'm the lost twin brother of Wally Gator.
I should have said that one. I wish I came up with it.
Yeah. Phil hasn't been around in like about 150 episodes, give or take. It's good to have you back. I don't think you've been on the show since I've been a host.
No, you came like way after, so.
Yeah. So it's cool to finally get to do an episode with you. It's cool to have you back after so long. I know you did a little recorded bit for the end of the decade episode, but like aside from that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's cool to have you here.
Mm-hmm.
As far as what we're talking about tonight, we are talking about a recent HBO Max release, Jellystone, which is developed by C.H. Greenblatt and is just a big ol' fucking crossover just all across Hanna-Barbera. There's most of Hanna-Barbera. There's some stuff here and there that they don't use or acknowledge or anything. Mostly like bigger shows like I don't think there's like any Scooby-Doo stuff in there. There's no Jetsons stuff. There's some references to Flintstones in there. But they don't reference stuff like, the Pac-Man cartoon or any of the other like sort of licensed stuff.
I think like when me and Dustin went to Maxwell's house and we talked to CH Greenblatt, and I think he was saying that there was like mandates on stuff they could and couldn't do.
That makes sense.
Wacky Races was one of them, wasn't it? Because there was that brand new show that came out, but it came
Maybe
out
it sounded like he wasn't quite sure on Wacky Races at the time. But
There
there's
is
no
a
Wacky Races in the show, so
There's a Wacky Racist reference in one of the episodes, though.
yeah, just a wee little reference.
Just a small, quick reference.
But
I
no
think
like
there was-
characters or anything.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's just one of the vehicles.
I think there was something weird about, because Dustin had brought it up at the time. It was like Muttley and who was the other one? Mumbly.
Yeah, they made Mumbly because they couldn't use Muttley for some reason. For Laugh Olympics, they had to make up a character it's Blue Muttley in a coat.
But it's basically still Muttley, and then they gave him his own series later.
Yeah, he's exactly the same character in every way except for name and color
Mhm.
and clothes, I guess.
It's so weird. Yeah, I'm not really up on like I mean, of course, growing up in the 90s, like watching Cartoon Network, you saw like a lot of reruns of a lot of that stuff, but like there's a lot of shit here that I don't remember watching, or like, it's mostly the surface level stuff that I can remember, like, like Yogi Bear, Huckleberry Hound, Top Cat, like a bunch of that shit, Jabberjaw. But like there's a lot of deep cut stuff in here, just like they have a bunch of characters from the different shows just all sort of intermingling and stuff. I know that here, let's just talk about it. Like, as far as classic Hanna-Barbera goes, I mean, like what are you guys' feelings on it?
Awful.
It has a charm to it. There's a charm. There's a few shows I really honestly like, even though it can be like really cheesy or bad animation, because I actually love the original Wacky Races. Because it's just a lot of fun, really. Because Dick Dastardly and Muttley, they're very good characters, in my opinion. They're a lot of fun. So
Good enough to make them villains in that CG Scooby-Doo movie.
Yeah, they were the good part of it.
Yeah,
they were the good part of it.
Yeah, for the most part, it's just mostly like, yeah, they existed. At least to me, anyway. Yeah, they existed. But there's some things where I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good, I guess.
I'm kind of the same. I feel like I have a little more fondness for him just because, back in the day, that's what Cartoon Network had. So I saw a lot of Hanna-Barbera stuff, and yeah, not a lot of it is good, but I feel like even the ones that are not good, I like because they're not good. Like, what's a good example? The Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan. Anyone? Anyone?
I definitely didn't pay any mind on this.
That cartoon's awful. That cartoon sucks so bad, but it's a lot of fun to watch because it sucks so bad. The way I described a lot of Hanna-Barbera things is charmingly shit. Like it, like they suck, but they have a charm to them, and you kind of like them because they suck. Like Yogi Bear, no one gives two shits about Yogi Bear cartoons these days. But I still kind of have a soft spot for them just because they do kind of have that weird sort of charm to them. They are kind of fun to watch.
Sure. And I know that, yeah, a lot of these characters are, it's kind of a thing where they have like for a classic Hanna-Barbera, they have like the shows within shows, right? They had like Yogi, and then I think what was it? Augie Doggy and Doggy Daddy was like part of the Yogi Bear show or whatever.
Yeah, they would have one character that was basically the star of it, like the Huckleberry Hound show, and then they would have different segments in the show other than Huckleberry Hound, kind of like how like Cow and Chicken had I Am Weasel.
Yeah,
stuff like that. So I forget what was with the Huckleberry. I think that's where Yogi first started.
Oh, what? I thought it was Quick Draw that was with the Huckleberry Hound.
Oh, it could be.
The only one I truly know is that Wally Gator had Touche Turtle with it.
Of all the ones to remember.
Touche Turtle and Dum Dum, yeah.
I think there was like Space Ghost and like Thundar Barbarian or something.
Oh,
like
those
that.
two were together. It was Space
Yeah.
Ghost and was it Space Ghost and Dino Boy?
It was either that or
it was
Junior.
Dino Boy. Yes, Dino Boy. I specifically remember it because they had a Super Chunk marathon of it.
Of both of them together?
Yeah.
Was Blue Falcon and Dynamite, were they the star of their show, or were they like a company
had
of some other?
I think they had their own show, yeah.
Okay.
Well, if I remember right, for a time, Dynamite and Scooby-Doo were put together. Like half of it would be Dynamite and half of it would be Scooby-Doo.
Oh yeah, that's when they had Scooby-Doo's cousin Scooby Dum on there, I think.
Right.
My favorite.
Yeah, so I know it seems to be the general like knowledge is that, there was a lot of Hanna-Barbera cartoons and they were all of similar quality, which is to say, at least in the public eye, like, at least by today's standards, not that great.
They got the job done for the time.
Yeah, because the big thing was that basically it was Hanna-Barbera constantly just trying to remake like. Because what was it? Their big shows were like Scooby-Doo and Flintstones and like Jetsons and stuff. So every other show that came after this was just them trying to just remake any of those three, right? At any given moment.
Well, less Flintstones and Jetsons, but definitely Scooby-Doo. It feels like once Scooby-Doo was a huge hit, they just, they kept Scooby-Doo going forever. Just endless Scooby-Doo series. And also Scooby-Doo ripoffs, like the Clue Club. Jabberjaw.
Goober and the Ghost Chasers.
Goober and the Ghost Chasers, that's right. Yeah, just endless mystery-solving teens with a talking something shows.
Sure. Okay, so I guess it's...
The time was, man. All the teens were solving mysteries.
I guess.
That's true.
I guess it's more than a lot of these shows were just... I don't know if all these, like, the funny animal characters, like, which one was, like, the first one. Like...
Rough and Ready were.
Rough and Ready, yeah.
So is every other, like, it was like Yogi and Huckleberry Hound and like Snagglepuss and Wally Gator. Is that all just technically ripoffs of that then, or?
No, Rough and Ready were sort of like Rocky and Bullwinkle, sort of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was treated like a radio series, basically.
Sure.
Interesting.
All those characters were just ripoffs of celebrities. Paul Lynde and shit.
Right.
Actually, Paul Lynde actually voiced the character though on one
Which
of the
one?
shows. He was
Mildew Wolf.
Yes, he was Mildew Wolf. He was
Everyone's favorite.
Yeah, that was actually Paul Lynde.
Oh, wow. That's funny.
Mildew Wolf is in Jellystone.
There's a lot of, like I said, I mean, they do like a lot of deep cut stuff. Although, so speaking of the characters of Jellystone, there's definitely something that we do need to talk about. is that
Those things Yogi said on social media.
we'll get to that. But the other thing is that they pretty much just like took about half of their characters and made them women.
Oh, we're gonna jump right into that topic. I'm 100% on board with that after watching it.
Yeah,
honestly,
it works.
Yeah, no, I'm honestly I'm actually a fan of that because it seems to be a common complaint a lot in modern cartoons is that I guess in just cartoons in general.
Well, it's a good point that they pointed out in the interviews and stuff. That it's just like most of the cast, like 98% of the cast of all Hanna-Barbera characters were male, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
to
you've got
do
like
that.
Cindy Bear.
Who is just a love interest to Yogi. That's all she did.
Yeah.
That's all she existed for.
She existed to be obsessed with Yogi.
And then the other female characters were just part of those Scooby-Doo ripoffs, and they were always like the damsels in distress. That's all they did.
There were a few here and there, like Winsome Witch, the female hillbilly bears, but they were very few and very far between.
Yeah, and the old lady whose name I always forget.
Granny Sweet.
Yeah, Granny Sweet.
Honestly, I'm because I don't have that that sort of tie with like classic Hanna-Barbera. Like I'm honestly for it because in addition to because when you cross over all these characters and if it's all predominantly males, then it's good to like switch it up that way. And I feel like
sausage fest.
yeah, pretty much. I feel like it does definitely enhance the show because I feel like if they had done the show just as is with like all the characters as males and stuff, I don't know. I feel I do really enjoy like them having female characters that they can get goofy with because that was what I was kind of getting at was that a lot of cartoons don't typically go like in more modern times they have, but like historically they're mostly like love interests or
you would have the token female character who rolls her eyes at those silly antics the boys get into.
Yeah, like wet blanket characters. Yeah.
Yeah, but like none of them in the show are like that even.
Mm-hmm.
Because like
every character is played for comedy.
Yeah, Jabberjaw's like super boy crazy, and then Cindy's like unhinged in this show.
Yeah. Cindy is an absolutely nothing character, and they made her fun and funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, her episode's actually like probably one of the better ones.
Mm-hmm.
It's very sandy cheeks. That's the only thing I don't like about her. Where it's like science, you guys.
Well, more medical,
I like the part. I think it's different though with this because even though she's like that, there's a lot of times she's always putting a lot of the blame she does on someone else. She's like, it's not my fault, even though it is.
They don't play her up as being like smart,
perfect. Yeah, she's not perfect. She makes a lot of mistakes, and then she's like, no, don't bother me with that, because she knows it's her fault.
Yeah, there's definitely no perfect characters in this show, and that's great. Like they all have like character flaws and stuff, and it just makes for an entertaining show.
It's funny. I was talking to a friend the other day. A friend of mine had just recently watched Scoob for the first time. He and I do another podcast together, and we were talking about Scoob on the podcast.
Hey, what's the name of that podcast?
It's called Telling the Tale, where we go through all of Telltale Games' various games. We just wrapped up on Sam & Max Season 2. Go ahead and listen to it. But anyway, so I brought up Scoob, and we went on a whole thing about it. He could not believe what I was saying about it. He was like, what the fuck is this movie? I gotta watch this. Then he watched it, and he didn't like it.
Wow.
That's about the typical reaction to watching Scoob. Yeah. But one thing I said was that one problem I had was that it felt like they changed the characters a little too much to the point where like fans of Hanna-Barbera are not going to like it because they changed the characters so much, and then everyone else is going to hate it for all the other reasons that it's not a good movie. But then Jellystone comes around and they changed a lot of the characters so much, and it really made me kind of rethink my stance on changing characters to this extent is fine. It just depends on how well you pull it off. Because Scoob, I don't think, pulls it off. Dynamite in that movie is a totally different character, and he's way worse for it. He's very not fun or interesting. But this show, like, look at Jabberjaw. Look at all the other characters they change, and they're all still funny and entertaining.
Yeah, no, those are all very good points. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, there's nothing inherently wrong with changing a character. It just is how it is done. That is definitely a good way of putting it. Because yeah, as far as Scoob is concerned, a lot of it was, I guess, it was more modernizing it. I guess, and Scooby Doo's kind of like a weird. It's I don't know. You'd think that Scooby Doo seems like a sort of time capsule, like 70s sort of stuff, but like it's not. It really does work as kind of like a timeless thing, and I think they kind of went a little bit too far in kind of modernizing it for Scoob. But whereas here, where a lot of the changes just come from changing their gender and then just actually making them into characters, because before a lot of them had like one character trait, but here they like exhibit like a lot of different like personality traits and different styles of humor and stuff.
Scoob comes across as modernizing it in a way that feels very corporate and hip and trying to be cool, whereas Jellystone modernizes it in a way to just be funny. It feels more like it feels more like real people wanted to make a funny show rather than making a movie that appeals to the broadest demographic as possible.
Right. And I think the other bit about this too is that with Jellystone, everything is already interconnected, and in Scoob, a lot of the criticism was that they were trying to shoehorn in a lot of stuff to set up like a Hanna-Barbera cinematic thing.
Yeah, because like Captain Caveman like comes out of nowhere like 60 minutes into the movie, and then he's only there for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, but then,
it sucks because
the mystery gear are like fucking side characters in their own movie. Like,
yeah, they barely do anything.
Yeah.
But we're not here to shit on Scoob, even though it's deserved so much. We're here to talk about Jellystone.
How good Jellystone is.
It's hard not to, just because it is the more recent Hanna-Barbera related thing that has come out in recent memory. Like, I don't think anything else has come out since then, right?
Well, see, the funny thing is, a lot of people base what they know on Hanna-Barbera off of Harvey Birdman, because that's like what people know what they are.
Well, no, that's true. It's true, because, sorry to interrupt, but it's sort of like when I see people like, oh, not my Jabberjaw, and the only one they refer to is that music video they did a few years back, and it's like, really? Yeah. That's the only time you talk about Jabberjaws.
That was a different take from the original Jabberjaw anyway.
Exactly. It's like, okay, then what's wrong with this one?
Yeah, what makes this any different?
I saw people getting pissed off that, banana splits are evil again, and then Ari brought up that they did the DC comics where they were with the Suicide Squad. I don't remember if they were evil or not, but
I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like anytime someone brings up something like that, it's like, oh no, not the banana splits.
Where were they when that live action movie, the horror movie, came out? Like, I didn't hear anybody. The only thing I heard people talking about that one is that like it wasn't good, but like nobody was saying like not my banana splits about it.
Well, here's even the thing. They Cartoon Network did like these like modern, like it's sort of like banana split shorts that sort of were like the old show, like the same cheesy humor.
They would play them like between like during commercial breaks.
and like the humor was still really bad. It's just like, okay, I mean, yeah, it's like the old show, but it's like it's not good.
Yeah, they tried to make it like as accurate to the original as possible, but to a fault, to the point where it sucks and is not funny and shouldn't have been made.
Yeah.
But there is kind of a charm to that still. Well, when I say there's a charm to it, like, if I watch an old Banana Splits, and it's shitty and dumb and stupid, that's part of the fun of it. But if you make something nowadays that's just that, it's like, okay, well, I thought we were past this.
Yeah.
Intentionally cheesy and shitty, it's not as fun.
It's the same thing that happened when The Room came out with Tommy Wiseau. That movie was made with the intent of actually making it like into like this serious drama and stuff, and it just came off so ungenuine, and people loved it because it was so shitty, not on purpose. And then everything else Tommy Wiseau's done since then is to try to ride that wave of, it's like bad on purpose, and it's just none of it's like memorable at all. Like, same principle. But yeah, back to Jellystone. What they did with the characters is great.
This is the only podcast where you can hear us talk about The Room and Yogi Bear.
Yeah.
and the same podcast.
It's the only podcast where we talk about the subject for 3 minutes and then we go on wild tangents for 2 hours.
It's the only podcast.
They're related, though. They're related. That's what people come here to listen to. All 12, not 12's to being too generous. All two people.
So like with Hanna-Barbera shit, it's been so out of public view for a while, especially like Yogi Bear and stuff. I mean, Yogi Bear's in fucking Geico ads. So like, do people really like clamor over this character? It's fine. I really like what they did. But with this show, I got like a really big Homer Simpson vibe, just the way he acts and just everything about him.
Yogi is a big jerk in this show. I feel like sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I feel like in terms of this cast, I feel like Yogi's probably near the bottom for me, but he still gets some good laughs.
Yeah,
the show's just consistently written. Even the characters that aren't as funny are still pretty funny.
I loved where he beat up Yaki Doodle. It's
Dr. Payne.
Yeah, it's like, you're not gonna beat a little kid, are you? He's like, of course.
I'm off duty.
I'm off duty.
I love earlier when Yaki beats Magilla, and she's like, "Yeah, lie down."
Yeah, but that was like one of my favorite jokes in the series. Snagglepuss is like, "See that standards and practices?" She said she's okay.
Yeah, the show does a really good job of just throwing in like little jokes like in between the big ones.
Oh yeah. Like Snagglepuss has like one of my favorite lines, like when they're talking about the banana splits destroying the town, because El Kabong, who is Quickdraw's alter ego, who is his permanent alter ego in this, he's the crime fighter, and they're talking about like how no one's doing anything about it. He just like true. What did he say? He's like something about it's true. Our town is the worst.
Our town is truly the worst.
It's truly the worst. Yeah, he just says it randomly.
Well, why don't we say who our favorite characters are? Because this show has a fuckload of characters.
Oh, I still can't decide because like a lot of them have like a lot of good things to them where I'm just like, are they my favorite or are they my favorite?
I'll just name a few of them.
I think I have mine narrowed down a little bit.
Tell us.
So I think the characters I like the most and who often get the best episodes, IMHO, are Top Cat and his gang.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love all their episodes.
Yeah, they have 3 episodes that focus on him in this season, and all of them are like they probably are like my top favorites. That's another example of characters whose genders got flipped. They flipped 3 members of Top Cat's gang: Choo Choo, Spooky, and Brain.
Yeah.
And they're all great because who honestly gives a shit about Top Cat's gang?
Yeah.
Before this,
Mexicans.
That's true.
Apparently, Top Cat is like big in Mexico for some reason.
It's like 2 fucking feature-length movies. I don't think they've even been translated, but yeah, there's.
They've been translated.
Dubbed, yeah.
It's so wild though. Like out of all Hanna-Barbera things, like
it's just one of those things. Some cartoons are just way more popular in other countries.
I was a big Top Cat fan as a kid. Top Cat was probably my favorite one.
I would say Top Cat's actually one of the better older series.
Yeah.
In terms of Hanna-Barbera.
But go ahead.
No, I was gonna say out of all like the just gender switching aside, just on general character design, I think Choo Choo's my favorite. Choo Choo looks so goofy, like in every shot that she's in. Like there's a shot where there's an episode with where they're doing the like big party at the restaurant, and like they pan the camera and there's like an out of focus like Choo Choo like just staring at the camera, and it like got me so bad. Like
it's because she has like that permanent cat face on her when she's not doing anything.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as like being shaped like a cat, like the rest of them still look kind of more or less. But you know, it's hilarious.
Top Cat's voice is totally different in this show, and I feel like it really works for his character.
It's Thomas Lennon from Reno 911.
Yeah.
Me and Kyle got to see Thomas Lennon with the Aquabats.
Ooh.
He was doing his Reno 911 character, and he sang a song by the Smiths.
Yeah.
What a crossover.
Yeah.
Aquabats also coincidentally crossed over with the Banana Splits.
I was gonna bring that up too. Were we at the same concert when that happened?
No, I wasn't. I didn't see him live. I just saw a video of it.
That was a Comic-Con concert.
Yeah.
with Banana Split.
Okay. Because I was there at that one. I actually have really shitty cell phone video of it.
That would have been awesome to see. I would have gone ape shit. But yeah, so Top Cat and his gang are probably my favorites, and then after that, Augie Doggy and Doggy Daddy are very well written.
I really love the overprotective dad of Doggy Daddy in this. Like he was in the original shorts, but like they upped it big time in this series.
And Doggy Daddy, and Augie Doggy are such nothing characters before.
They really are.
Me and my roommates watched Yogi's First Christmas last year.
Well, that's because the original ones were basically just rip-offs of Sylvester and Sylvester Jr., more or less.
Dear old son of mine.
Is Augie Doggy based on like Red Skeleton or something?
Red Skeleton?
He's based on
an old like radio host, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, it's his
Probably.
His voice is some celebrity. I'd have to look it up. I have the picture on my phone.
That would check out because I mean, yeah, a lot of those Hanna-Barbera characters are just based on like other people. So
yeah, Augie and Doggy Daddy are really great characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and they get a lot of episodes too. I feel like they knew that they were probably some of their strongest characters.
Yeah, Dave.
Oh, that's yeah.
It says Jimmy Durante is who he's.
That's it.
Yep. Impersonated.
I can hear that. Yep.
I have a picture on my cell phone that I keep looking at, and it just makes me die every time I see it. It's when Augie Doggy was eating the grilled cheese sandwich and just like coughing and sniffling.
Yeah, it makes us phlegmy.
It's so fucking funny, that picture.
Such a great face.
Yeah. This show has such great expressions, and it's so great.
They're allowed to really push him. This might be the first time they're actually allowed to get crazy with Hanna-Barbera characters. Because before they're very conservative. The whole point was to save money on animation. Now they can just go crazy with them.
Yeah.
The last character I'll say that's one of my favorites is Huckleberry Hound. He consistently makes me laugh throughout the show. One of my
amazing.
One of my favorites is in the video game episode when he's talking to the town and Yaki Doodle's there. There it is. Sorry for everyone listening. This is the visual part of the podcast.
This is my favorite. That's my favorite scene. But go on, talk about it.
So Huck is talking to the town. Yaki Doodle is up there with him, and she screams, "Please don't send me to jail!" And Huckleberry Hound says, "We'll see."
Yeah,
that was the biggest laugh I got.
Yeah, it's the delivery. It's so good.
Another thing with Huckleberry Hound, it's kind of fucking weird in like today's context, but he's like the unofficial mascot of Funko.
Really?
What?
Like Funko Pops?
Yeah, like
Huckleberry Hound?
Yeah. They so they have Freddy Funko, and then they did like a TV show, well, like a web show, and it was Freddy Funko and Huckleberry Hound together.
That's the most bizarre thing weird. I've ever heard.
Well, it's not too. I mean, I don't know what it is because even Huckleberry Hound had like his own TV movie.
Yeah, Huckleberry Hound was probably one of the bigger. Like he was a star before Yogi Bear had his own show.
He was so gay.
And he couldn't tell anyone.
That was a Family Guy, right?
That was
The Simpsons.
Oh, The Simpsons. Okay.
Yeah, behind the scenes thing.
They had an episode of the Brack Show where Brack was wearing a fake nose, and Huckleberry Hound came up and ate it.
That's all he did.
Yeah, and he just barked like a regular dog. He didn't speak or anything.
That's such a good gag.
But yeah, so, back to the characters. A lot of the ones that don't have like their own episodes, they still have like a lot of good quips and stuff. Like I love the fact that they made Peter Potamus a huge anime nerd.
He's a weeb. Yeah.
He's a weeb. Like, there's this one scene in the wrestling episode where he's fighting Touche Turtle, and he's like, "You destroyed my village," and then Snagapus is like, "Oh, great, he came up with
lore."
Yeah.
Or when he's he he like fends off Funky Phantom with like a sword, and like a bunch of flower petals like are falling from the ceiling. Like Snagglepuss is like, where are all these flower petals coming from?
Yeah, it's so good. And then like when Top Cat and his gang are trying to leech off him because they got kicked out of their alley, and he's like, "We go watch OVAs." And it's like, I just lost it. It's like, really? Just the fact that he said OVAs.
What a great change for the character.
Mm-hmm.
Wally Gator is one of my favorites. Who's not necessarily a starring character, but he's always showing up here and there.
He's always making dumb clips. One character. Go ahead.
Oh, I just love that. I think it was where they kind of introduced him. It was with Miguel Gorilla. Jesus, they kept giving him different bow ties, and he's like, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of that episode, one character I really hope they use a lot more is Loopy de Loop, because the original character is like super lame. It's like the worst character, but she's like one of the funniest characters in this show because she just doesn't seem to give a shit about anything.
Yeah, she always wants to like steal from the register or burn down the building. Or...
Yeah, basically, she's just like, whatever. Just
she's a bad influence.
She does have one of my favorite quotes from the show when they're talking about how they're trying to get a group together for badminton, but she won't play because she refuses to move her body for sport, only for pleasure.
For pleasure, yeah. That's a great line.
Or any other characters there, Phil?
I like the frat boy Captain Caveman they have in this show.
Oh too. Yeah, Captain Caveman's great.
Yeah, like the episode, like they brought back his son from Flintstone Kids because they were like the secondary characters in that. And there's one line at the very end that cracks me up where like he knows his son is like really well off defending himself, and he's just like, "I'll see him again someday.
I'll see him whenever."
Yeah, whenever. But yeah, that's
the perfect way to just write around him.
Yeah. One more. Back to Top Cat's game. I really love this version of Spooky.
Yeah, she doesn't really talk.
No, but that's what makes her funny because she's just doing like, you know, sometimes you have those characters that just do random things. You're like, oh, haha, funny. But the way they pull it off in this just comes off as super funny, just because like she just says like random little, you know, noises, like the whole whiteboard gag in the one episode. That is like one of my favorite scenes ever. It's just the fact that
a blaster. No, that ain't our style.
It's only for holding, not for shooting.
Yeah. Like I that whole scene, just the fact that like Benny comes up with a cowboy hat idea and Top Cat gives it to him, and then Fancy wants the same thing. He's like, you know, you can't just take Benny's hat idea. He came up with all by himself like a good boy.
A good boy.
Yeah.
And then Brain's like, put him in one of those baby tricycles, and he starts complaining about it.
Tricycle done.
What makes that scene funnier though is like when the next scene when they're trying to get it back from the King characters, like Benny has the cowboy hat and Fancy's on the little tricycle with the little hat. It's so good.
Yeah,
it's interesting. I like that they used "Hey, It's the King" since you were talking about earlier how the show has some deep cuts. I think "Hey, It's the King" is probably one of the deeper cuts you could have.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers or gives two shits about "Hey, It's the King."
It's just the fact that "Hey, It's the King" is also one of the worst things they ever did because it's just pretty much, hey, what if the Fonz was a lion?
What if the Fonz accept lion?
Oh, that was the dance episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's my favorite episode.
I think it's mine too. It's because like you look at all these Hanna-Barbera characters that get merchandise like Yogi Bear, Huckleberry Hound, etc., etc. Hey, It's the King doesn't get anything ever. Barely anyone knows this show, but here they are.
Kyle, any characters that speak to you?
Oh, I really like Boo Boo for some reason. He's just so great. I forget what it was.
He's been sued for malpractice.
Yeah, they asked him, hey, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm being sued for malpractice. Or just stuff like that. He's great. I've been seeing a lot of people talking about how he was on the toilet with his fur pulled down his pants.
Yeah.
It's just visual gags like that are fucking great.
I liked when he went to go buy those tall boots and like he runs in and he runs back out. He's like, oh, I got nervous and I bought a yo-yo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And CH Greenblatt voices him too.
Yeah, and that's what's funny though, because like he does the voice of Dade in his old cartoon on Nick, Harvey Beak. So like he slips into the Dade voice once in a while with Boo
It's
Boo.
pretty similar.
Yeah.
So what all characters does Greenblatt voice? He voices Boo Boo, Doggy Daddy,
And Peter.
Hippopotamus.
oh, and Drooper from the Banana Splits too.
Yeah, that's right. He does
It's-
the Fredberger voice for
Yeah,
Drooper.
Yeah.
I like the Banana Splits too. It was
Yeah.
fucking great to see him as like a organized crime.
Mhm.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's just one of those reimagining of like kind of, I don't know if you would call them nothing characters, but they kind of are. They're more remembered, but they're kind of nothing characters.
Yeah,
was-
it's weird because like I used to watch the Banana Splits because Cartoon Network used to play it at like 3 a.m. So I had like set the VCR to record it because I was like, oh, I haven't seen that. I'll record it and see what it's all about. So I don't know where it lands in terms of iconic Hanna-Barbera series.
My mom remembers it fondly. I think.
Yeah,
I think
my
it
mom
hold-
too.
Yeah, so it's definitely there for like the late '60s kids. Definitely.
Yeah, it's like I think this series as a whole did more for like the whole Warner Brothers Hanna-Barbera shit than like Space Jam did, or like
God.
Scoob did, or any of that.
Well, I would say that Warner Brothers' attempt at doing this was like the Looney Tunes show, and I would say that was pretty good.
That's a
Yeah.
comparison I would make too. That's what I thought of before Jellystone went up. Is like they're totally different shows, but the general idea is very similar, where they just bring all these characters together in one neighborhood.
Yeah.
It just it's kind of a shitty comparison, but it really did it felt like Chowder Never Left. It was just so on on point with it. Because I love
Yeah.
Chowder. It's so fucking great.
a
But
great
yeah,
show.
I miss CH Greenblatt's stuff.
Yeah, because he didn't really. Well, actually, before we get on that, was there any other characters you wanted to talk about?
I think everybody pretty much said it. I really like Yogi. Yogi's fun.
Yeah, he's good.
I wanted
do
to.
Go ahead.
I was going to say I do agree with Dustin. I think my favorite character of the whole show is Augie Doggy.
Mm.
I really, every time Augie was on screen, it was just very like I don't know. She's just
yeah.
a very funny character. Like
Well,
my favorite episodes were like the episode where she puts on the fake mustache and she's like pretending to be a friend of Doggy Daddy named Dave. That whole episode's great. And then the episode where they are getting all the ingredients for the fruit salad and like they have to split up, and she's like going through the supermarket and like spying on El Kabong and like going on a fucking like cheese high. Like it's amazing. The episode where the video game episode too. Like it's just any of my favorite episodes probably involve Augie in some way.
I was gonna say too, Shazam is pretty fucking funny.
Oh yeah,
He shows up a lot too.
Yeah.
yeah. What a strange character to have show up so much. Shazam's another one that's like pretty obscure in terms of Hanna-Barbera stuff, but he shows up a lot in this show, and he's great.
Shazam was part of the Banana Splits, wasn't he? He's like one of the animated shorts.
No, Shazam was different. Banana Splits had like Arabian Night.
That's it. I thought Shazam was a part of it, but yeah, Shazam's a really obscure character.
I like when they bring in the more obscure characters.
Yeah. One character I want to point out that I actually really like because I never liked the original one is Yaki Doodle.
Yeah.
I honestly love this version. I think it's like one of the most adorable characters ever. But I love the fact that like she's so freaked out by everything. Like any episodes that have her as a focus are really great. Like I love the episode where they pull out her fear.
Oh, the all the vials, like
Yeah, and she goes all like
she's extreme.
She's extreme.
This is definitely the best Yaki Doodle content since chemical castration on Harvey Birdman.
but like
that's all anybody knows that fucking character from. Is that.
Yeah, but it's like Kyle pointed out earlier, the whole part where she goes against Yogi in the wrestling match. That's great.
Yeah,
it's just she has a lot of great moments.
Also, I really enjoy Jabberjaw on this show. I wish Jabberjaw has like one episode. I kind of wish she got like at least one other episode. But
yeah, it's funny. She shows up a lot in various episodes, but just to do like a couple lines, she only had the one episode to herself.
Yeah, hopefully she gets another episode in season 2. There's another character that shows up a lot but doesn't even get an episode, but Squiddly Diddly.
Oh
I
yeah.
really do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she shows up from same with Bobby Louie, who is Quick Draw's old psychic who got a gender change, but she's not really the most interesting character. I think that she really needs like an episode to flesh her out a bit.
Yeah, she rarely even has any lines. She's not like Jabberjaw, where even if the episode's not about her, she still gets good lines in a ton of episodes. She just hasn't really done anything yet.
She also doesn't have any connection to El Kabong in any way, and I guess that's
as far as we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to look it up for her name just to see like voice actors and whoever did what, but yeah, I had to look up her name because it's different in this.
It's just Bobby Louie now, I think.
Yeah, but they never say her name like the whole series.
I guess we'll see if this next batch has any. I have a question for you guys. Are there any characters you don't necessarily like the changes? I have one that I'm a little iffy on.
Who is it?
So I am not the biggest fan of what they did with Magilla Gorilla in this show. Not that he's bad, but I don't know. He feels like a little too far removed from the original character. Like Jabberjaw's different, but like in terms of personality, there's still some similarities. So it still kind of feels like the same character, even if it's a totally different take. But I feel like Magilla is a little too far, and also I love Paul F. Tompkins, but he's kind of just doing his regular shtick for Magilla. He does Fleagle from the Banana Splits too, and that I really like.
I think I want to point out though, it's sort of because I always felt like Magilla and Wally Gator sort of had like the same personalities in the old shorts, and I'm kind of wondering if they only decided, okay, let's make Wally Gator the awkward, goofy guy, and then just make Magilla his own thing.
Yeah, but I think the problem is that they just don't show off Magilla Gorilla that much. Like, he has the one episode, and then he shows up in the wrestling episode a little bit. I feel like when you have characters like Jabberjaw show up a lot, you kind of get used to the changes a lot, since they stand well on their own as a character. But I feel like Magilla just hasn't had that yet. Maybe in this next half.
I feel like a lot of the characters, that we have seen but haven't seen too much of, will probably get like a bit more play in the second season.
Yeah,
we can hope.
Yeah, to answer that, Dustin, we already talked about Bobby Louie. I'm not a fan of it until like they actually do something with her. She's just kind of
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully.
I don't know that I personally. I don't know. Like, you guys make some good points on both of those characters, but aside from that, I can't really think of any other specific character.
Yeah, and even then, I'm not like saying they're done badly. I just need a little more with these characters.
Yeah, exactly.
Get a grasp.
Sure.
Jeremy Snow here, owner and editor-in-chief of The Geekly Grind. I'm interrupting your awesome, regularly scheduled programming to ensure that you know about our Geekly Grind podcast network, of which this show is a treasured member of. If you haven't had a chance to check out our site, you can do so at www.thegeeklygrind.com, and while you're there, check out the other members of our steadily growing podcast family, including the anime-centric Blake and Spencer Get Jumped, discovering new heroes and comic book keepers with Chris and Lance, exploring the vast universe of geekdom with Geeksploration, or of course appreciating animation's finer details with the Ink and Paint Club. Escape your weekly grind at the Geekly Grind.
So I kind of mentioned like my favorite episodes earlier, and we kind of just touched on some of the other episodes earlier. But like, did you guys have like a specific like favorite?
Well, like I said earlier, both of the main Top Cat episodes, like the fish one and the dance off one, they're pretty great. But I also, like I said earlier, I really like the one where they take out Yaki's fearness, just because the whole extreme thing, and plus. A character we haven't mentioned yet, Shag Rugg, voiced by
Ron Funches.
Yeah, Ron Funches.
He's so good in every single role. He is.
I was like, the last thing I heard of him was he voices King Shark and Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm. He's in Harley Quinn. He's in Final Space. He was in one episode of Bob's Burgers.
He's in Trolls. He plays
That's right.
In Trolls.
Yeah, and he's great in this. I feel like Shag, I like Shag a lot, but they use him a lot. So
There was a stretch of episodes, where they hit like 4 or 5 episodes where he's featured because he's not featured in like any of the episodes before that. So I feel like they could have probably adjusted the order of some of these like a bit better to space some stuff out, because I felt like we got like a lot of stuff all at once for some of these.
Yeah. Some of these episodes are a little weirdly placed. Like you get a lot of Shag all grouped together, and then the 2 Banana Splits episodes are in the same episode.
Yeah. Didn't they did that with didn't they do that with like KV Jr. where it's like, okay, he's off, and then they did the DNA joke with him in an episode later.
Right after.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Obviously that doesn't detract from the quality of the show, especially since you can just watch them in whatever order you want. It's just kind of this funny little thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hope next season we get to see more of the rest of the Hillbilly Bear family, because they really just focus on Shag, which is fine, but I want to see the rest. I feel like in terms
they had
of
that one good joke at the end of the One Banana Splits where they accidentally give him the 1-star rating and they beat him up.
They beat the shit out of him.
Time to start splitting heads.
In the original Hanna-Barbera cartoons of the Hillbilly Bears, I think Pa Rug is maybe one of the only legitimately funny Hanna-Barbera characters. Just because of the way he talks, it kills me every time.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see. He doesn't say a single word. Maybe he's just silent in this show, but I kind of hope not, because the way he talks is so funny.
Yeah, because I think I know the sister has like one line, and then the mom has like a couple, but
yeah.
And it's weird because that episode's focused solely on that restaurant, so it's weird that they're like not even in most of that episode.
Yeah, it's still mostly on Shag, and then Shag's like the only one to have any lines after that.
Well, he's basically the third wheel with Augie and Yaki.
The kids.
I forgot to mention it when I was talking about my favorite Augie episodes earlier, but yeah, there's the episode with the 3 of them where they're I can't remember the name they give, but they're like in the tall trench coat with like the hat, and like they're
that's a great.
They're trying to go see a fucking adult movie, and like they just keep on getting a sidelined, and they become like the mayor, or like they're like a lawyer, and then they become a mayor, and they're just like there's like a newspaper tagline that's just like, I just wanted to see a movie.
Yeah, that's great. and then like the guy they're disguised as is an actual real guy.
Yeah,
but
and he gets them in.
And even then, that has like one of my favorite quotes in the show. It's where they're watching the movie and Yaki at the end. It's like my nightmares, except I'm awake.
Yeah. Oh, really good. Kyle, did you have any any specific episodes you really like?
I like the wrestling one a lot.
That's a great one.
It was fun to see the characters be someone else. They kind of just put on personas.
Cutie and Patootie.
Yeah.
I'm always a big fan of wrestling. Being a wrestling fan, I always love when there's like any wrestling references or episodes of a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
kind of like what they reference.
And make sure to point out Funky Phantom's in that episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as a fan of the Funky Phantom, I love any episode that has the Funky Phantom.
I was gonna say he's like another one of the characters that fucking nobody talks about.
Yeah,
or knows who he is.
I knew him just because Cartoon Network, like, I don't know if it was ever like a regular on their schedule, but I feel like I remember they had a block where they just played like random shows from the 70s, and Funky Phantom was one of them, and I was I
remember it was it was on Sundays. It was like all the mystery solving
shows. That's it.
The
Mystery Inc. block.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And it had
that's where they played the Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan, and Jabberjaw.
Mm-hmm.
When's the Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan gonna make it into Jellystone?
Probably never.
Maybe next season, but probably never.
The Clue Club was there.
It was Old Man Jenkins.
They're kind of sparingly using human characters. It's kind of interesting how they're doing it.
Yeah, Johnny Quest and Haji are like they run a bowling shop together.
Yeah,
yeah, they don't show up much. The only human that I think shows up fairly often is Winsome Witch.
Yeah, and even then, she's like pretty cartoony.
Well, yeah, and Shazam. Yeah. If you want to count Shazam, he does.
Oh yeah, Shazam.
We're talking humanoids. Yeah, I guess the only real like human on the show is Ranger Smith shows up for like a second.
He shows up once. That's crazy to me. They don't use him more. Yeah,
he's like the leader of the hospital.
And he shows. You'd think having such a big role in the town, he would show up a little more, but you don't really miss him afterwards.
No. but still, it is interesting to note.
Yeah, I think this is the one time where I want all these characters to keep showing up because it's the one time they're actually allowed to do anything with them.
Yeah.
Are you saying you didn't like Boo Boo Goes Wild?
Oh boy. This week on an all new Boo Boo Runs Wild.
Yikes.
Some of my favorite episodes. There's the Cats Do Dance episode. Every Top Cat episode. I really like the Chattanooga cheese explosion, because Chattanooga Cats is one of those Hanna-Barbera cartoons that only the hardcore really know. That's not a show Cartoon Network really aired that much. I kind of have a soft spot for it, so I thought it was neat seeing them brought into this show the way they were.
It has Daphne's persona.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was a good one. Then I liked the El Kabong episode. We only get the one El Kabong episode, but it's really good, where the Banana Splits destroy his guitar.
He's trying a bunch of different instruments.
Yeah.
There's two great bits in that episode. There's the one where after trying a bunch of individual instruments, he like does like a mecha suit up, like where he's got like the trumpets on his the shoulders, he's got like the accordion between his legs and like the big drum on his back and stuff. And then like the bit like at the very end where he turns himself into a guitar, but like he's like mangling his own like limbs.
And he
like,
can't change himself back.
Yeah,
he is the guitar.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, because in reference to the mecha thing, I know that we touched on Peter Potamus being like a weeb, but there's a number of different like anime influenced things in this show. Aside from like in that specific episode when the Top Cats are like in Peter Potamus's house, there's like he has like that anime body pillow, and like there's a bit of the song they're using that has like it's like KK Slider like singing over it.
Yeah.
It's so strange. Like
I wonder how that worked. I wonder if they got permission or if it's like if it's just a thing they could use.
It's clearly the animal knees.
Yeah.
Voice.
Yeah, it is so strange. There's an episode where was it the one where they're all like in competition to see like who's going to be like made into like a statue like for the town square,
the new face of the town.
That's a good episode.
Well, I was gonna say, because in that episode, Huckleberry Hound is like imbued with the power of the Jellystone, and he has like an actual Sailor Moon like magical girl transformation, like with the colors and everything.
I love that his face just stays the exact same the whole time.
Yeah, and then there's a later, like I think it's the second to last episode where Yogi is shooting like the film to it's like a tourism attraction for Jellystone, and like there's a good bit of the episode where they put an anime filter on it, and like they got have, like actual Japanese voice actors.
Mm-hmm.
It's really funny to see like this generation of like people working on cartoons like put all these like references into like these properties that you would, because like they did the same thing with Animaniacs too. They had like that whole anime bit in one of their episodes.
That one felt forced as shit, though.
Well, no, but I'm just saying the fact that it happened. Like, a lot of people working in the industry now are influenced by anime, and to see them, like, putting the stuff, like, in stuff like Animaniacs, or, like, in, you know, like, 60s, 70s, like, Hanna-Barbera, like, cartoon characters doing this shit. Like, it's really funny.
It gets a little tiring.
I don't want to break it to you, man, but anime's mainstream now, so
it gets a little tiring when it shows up in everything, but I think just the pure absurdity of it being Hanna-Barbera characters doing it made it work in this show.
Yeah. Well, I'll give them credit that they also used Japanese voice actors that made it a lot funnier. And then you have like the weird subtitles that they're actually saying this stuff too.
Yeah. It felt more authentic than just the surface level.
What was stuff. It like the picnic basket attack or something?
Yeah.
and of all the characters, they use Yogi and Huckleberry Hound for it.
Yeah.
What a good show.
Man,
yeah.
Animaniacs was like, hey, here's a whole plot based around this joke, and it was not good.
Well, that episode didn't even have anything to do... Like, it was just a random anime battle for the sake of it. The episode had nothing to do with it. Yeah. At least it worked naturally with this episode. Kinda.
Well, yeah, because Yogi said put on the anime filter. You want to make it dramatic.
Right, yeah, Peter Thomas was working on the film, so of course he would have that ready.
Exactly.
Yeah.
it all came together very nicely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean the show has been confirmed for season 2, right? Another 10 episodes.
I think they said it's like from what I gathered, it sounded like it's the second half of the same season, but they made it sound like they're not done with the show because I think they made a comment about wanting to put Secret Squirrel in season 2 or something.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and I guess that's the fun thing about it too, is that there's still like a lot of other Hanna-Barbera characters that we have not seen. So I wonder if maybe they'll see the success of Jellystone and allow them to use like Scooby and the gang, or like Jets and stuff, or any more blatant like Flintstone stuff, or that sort of stuff.
Normally, I would be sick and tired of seeing Scooby-Doo get stuff, but I'd like to see how Scooby-Doo is handled in the world, as long as they don't take over the show.
Like give them their own whole episode.
I
Sure,
want to see them tackle "Wait Till Your Father Gets Home."
My favorite.
but yeah, it's like Kyle was mentioning, it's great to see more content from CH Greenblatt. I completely missed a boat on Harvey Beaks, so I never got around to watching that.
Oh
But
man, that's one of my favorite Nicktoons of all time. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sad it got ignored.
I was mostly just put off by like how I heard like that that team and Carl specifically got treated by Nick, like as like the whole aftermath from it, which sucked. Like,
well, it's weird because Carl said like the actual development of the show went great. He said he had no problems with Nick. Nick let them do basically whatever they wanted. It's just the way they treated the show itself.
It's one of those you're not as good as SpongeBob, so
banish it to Nicktoons Network.
Yeah, basically.
We can't have it taking up valuable airtime on our actual channel.
Yeah.
I tried giving Harvey Beaks a chance, but I don't think it was really my thing.
It's not as crazy as Chowder. No, it's a lot more relaxed.
It's very different from these other two Greenblatt shows.
I was gonna say, like, the only way I can describe it is it's like comfy.
Yeah, basically.
I wanted something more, so it's not that it's a bad show. It's just it probably wasn't for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. But like on that subject, like with Jellystone, I remember seeing a lot of posts about people saying, "Oh, the designs for these characters are ugly," and I feel like that's sort of an insult because I love Greenblatt's style, and I feel like the characters look great in his style.
Yeah, and also like opposed to what?
Exactly.
Yeah, really.
I think Greenblatt's style is like perfect for storyboarding. Like it's so simple and easy that it seems like it's the easiest thing to storyboard.
Hey, speaking of that, I want to give a quick shout out to my friend Gianna, storyboarded on this show. So hey,
nice.
Great job on Jellystone. You all did a great job.
Oh yeah,
Good job.
Melody Isa, who I'm friends with on Twitter, she did a lot of good stuff on this too.
She does amazing art. I've been a big fan even before this show.
Yeah, she posted a lot of Jellystone requests on Twitter, and they're a lot of fun to look at.
She drew a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's also I know Hannah Ayubi is on the show as well, and I remember following her on Tumblr like years ago, and then to see her like actually hopping into like cartoons and stuff, it's been pretty. It's been a treat.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is that artist that you're talking about that's been doing requests? Is that the one that did the "Are You Winning, Son" picture?
Yes, she did that one.
With Augie Doggy.
Are you winning, daughter of mine?
You're winning, daughter of mine.
Are you winning, beautiful girl?
Well, see, that's the thing is like I want to say him, Doggy Daddy, Yogi Bear, Huckleberry Hound are kind of the only characters that sort of kept their voice because they were all kind of based on like dead celebrities.
Yeah, Mr. Jinx has his too.
It's so interesting to me that Mr. Jinx shows up a ton. He shows up so much in this show, but Pixie and Dixie only show up like once.
Yeah, they only had like one quote in the Jelly episode. That was it.
Yeah,
and only one of them talked, I think.
And Mr. Jinx has a big role. He's the mayor's aide. I can't let down the mayor. Not ever.
That was weird. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, I heard that. But Mr. Jinx has one of my favorite quotes too. It's when Doggy Daddy's having a meltdown on the conveyor belt at the grocery store. He goes, "Sir, you're gonna blow out your colon." and then like they're trying to tell him to relax, but you see Winsome Witch pulling out a phone. She's like, "Speak for yourself," because she's like taping it.
Yeah.
Mr. Jinx
Yeah.
gets sliced in half in the Jelly episode.
Yeah,
That's great.
that's another character where I don't really know him other than that one short about suing.
The Pixie and Dixie short.
It's basically just a Tom and Jerry ripoff. That's all it is.
Yeah. He's a little more interesting. He like talks like this.
Pieces to pieces.
Let's all do the rest of the podcast talking like Mr. Jinx.
My favorite episode was.
Yeah, I love that one episode.
Welcome to the Jinx and Paint Club podcast.
Jeff Bergman, you do a good Mr. Drinks.
It's interesting you bring that up. I was just thinking about how back in the late 90s, early 2000s, Cartoon Network did a bunch of little Hanna-Barbera things. They did that short, they did the Jabberjaw music video, and I've always loved when they do different takes on Hanna-Barbera things because they're just so ripe for it. Since they're very basic archetypes, you can really go wild with them. And this show is another example of that. I just love when people actually do things with these characters that are entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that the Jellystone gang, Yogi, Cindy, and Boo Boo, they're all doctors. It works really well.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird choice since it's not like they're anything close to doctors in the original, but it works.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, this is definitely a case of, in comparison to like Scooby-Doo, where like they keep on bringing it back, like back and back and back, and like, in this case, like, for all these other Hanna-Barbera properties, like, they brought them all back, and like it worked out very well, and just kudos to CH Greenblatt for making it happen. It could have absolutely gone like a completely different direction.
I think the main director though is Corinne Ingle. She used to work on the Unikitty show. I think she's like the second in command to the show.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah,
so props to her as well.
Yeah, because she recently posted a bunch of the Top Gat episode storyboards, and she said she was the one who decided how like all the gang should act.
Nice.
Yeah, so she's responsible for their personalities.
Fancy is funny in this show, and he's an absolute nothing character in the original Top Cat.
He was just a savvy cat who hit on all the ladies in the original show. That's all he did.
I think in the original show, Spooky and Fancy were the two I always forget even existed.
That's because they look the same, basically. One is just, orange with a white scarf, and the other one's green with a black scarf.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I think is really cool. So this show was made for HBO Max, but it's gonna start airing on regular Cartoon Network. And it's just interesting since these Hanna-Barbera characters are what Cartoon Network used to be based entirely on. Mm-hmm. So this is the first time these characters have been on the channel in a long time.
Yeah.
Everything circles back around, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Those Hanna-Barbera characters you loved are coming back in style.
But this time it's actually good.
Yeah.
They're back in pug form.
Yeah. All right. Well, was there anything else you guys wanted to bring up in regards to Jellystone?
Ego Plum. He does good music. He did Harvey Beaks. The music for that. There's a lot of fun little music cues in this one, like the Kitten Around song.
Yeah, we were just talking about that before. I hope they release like an actual, just the whole recording of Augie Dougie's voice actor.
He seems to be posting little samples lately, so hopefully.
Yeah, that's really some good music.
I like that they made Grape Ape a kaiju.
Yeah. He walks back into the ocean, like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually, so that was something we totally forgot to mention, is that the intro to the show like changes a lot. Like for the most part, it stays the same, but
it's a couch gag, right? Basically.
Yeah, where like Grape Ape will like knock down the buildings, or like that alien's ship will come crashing down and knock him over, or
the alien from Josie and the Pussycats in outer space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm guessing they can't use Josie and the Pussycats since they're Archie, but they can use that alien thing.
As he's original. He was an original character.
Yeah, it's a fun gag.
Yeah. Speed Buggy shows up a few times.
Yeah, he's like just licking a tree like in one scene.
It's like speed. No.
It's like a dog.
Another thing I want to bring up that I'm surprised we haven't brought up is the fact that Dana Snyder's on this show too.
Right.
He voices Snagglepuss and
Touche Turtle.
Touche Turtle. He voices some other. He voices Lamsey. Remember Lamsey?
I had never heard of Lamsey.
It's part of the Mildew Wolf thing.
Oh, right.
But yeah, he's mostly Snagglepuss and Touche. Thought he voiced someone else, but I can't remember.
Has he been in every CH Greenblatt show?
I don't.
Was he in Harvey Beaks?
I think he was in Harvey Beaks. I can't remember though. I'll have to look that up. I feel like he was.
Yeah. It's not coming to me, but I would think he is.
I'll just go off the assumption that he is.
Yeah,
let's just say.
If he's not, he should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Dana's always a treat whenever you get to hear him.
He sure is.
All right. Anything else?
I think that's it. The thing about this show is we still have a whole other batch of episodes coming out. So it's a little hard to talk about right now because this is technically the early stuff. But it hits the ground running. It's great right away.
Yeah, it's already at the point where like I don't get tired of rewatching the same episodes over and over again.
I was just about to say the same. There's multiple episodes. Sometimes I'll just throw it on just to watch something.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
very easy to jump into show.
Yeah, it's just a whatever they knew what they were doing. It's just normally I'm very picky when it comes to like new cartoons because usually like either takes me a while to get into it or whatever. But like Dustin said, like it just took off as soon as it came out.
Part of it's probably because Greenblatt's already
seasoned,
proven himself.
His
stuff's already good at this point, so you kind of know you're going to get something you're going to enjoy with this show going in.
Yeah, no, I can only imagine that those next batch of episodes that come out are going to be even better.
Yes.
And we'll probably end up covering those when they come out too. So keep your ears on the ground for that whenever that ends up happening.
Definitely have me back for that. I will definitely come back to talk about more Jellystone.
Yes, please.
For sure. You guys are always welcome to be on the show. Yeah, so with that, that's going to do it for us, talking about Jellystone. Like mentioned, you can catch it on HBO Max now. It's going to be airing on Cartoon Network is it next month? Is it September?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
It's airing in the very near future. So yeah, if you don't have Max and you have cable, then you can just wait for it to air on there. It's absolutely worth checking out. But yeah, thanks for listening to this episode. Dustin, Phil, thanks for joining us for this discussion. It was fun to have you guys on.
Sure
thing. Thank you.
And yeah, we will catch you guys in the next episode. So until next time, we'll see you later.
Thanks for listening. You can find all the links to our social media pages in the episode description. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and join our Discord. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. The Ink and Paint Club is happy to be part of the Geekly Grind Podcast Network. We'll see you next time.